Attention, Commander Nation! This video is not for the faint of heart. What's coming for the Washington Commanders in the next few weeks is nothing short of fire, tension, and, who knows, a bit of history in the making. There are way too many fronts to tackle, and we're breaking them all down today. Buckle up for a roller coaster of emotions because these updates aren't just about this season, they could define the future of this franchise. First, we're talking about a rookie quarterback face-off you cannot afford to miss. A matchup that just might shape the future of the NFC. Yes, I'm talking about Washington versus Atlanta. Our rookie QB has been a raw gem showing tremendous promise, but how brightly can he shine against a rival who seems to know his every step off the field? Think this game is just another stop on the calendar? Then you're seriously underestimating what's at stake. Stick around, because I'm breaking down how this game isn't just about potentially securing a playoff berth, it's also about proving to the rest of the league that we're built to win. And speaking of playoffs, let's talk about our secret weapons. That's right, folks, the possible return of a key player could completely reshape this team's outlook. I'm referring to one of the most dynamic and versatile pieces in our offense. But here's the million-dollar question. Do we rush their return or prioritize health and look at the long game for what could be a huge postseason challenge? The coach's latest comments have sparked as much excitement as debate, and I'll break down Washington's plans while you ponder what you do in their shoes. Lastly, let's not skip over the biggest storyline of the Week 4 playoff push. We might lock in our spot even before facing the Falcons, but here's the dilemma. Do we really want to rely on other teams' results? Or should we step up and prove this team has the character to control its own destiny? That Sunday Night Football game isn't just another matchup, it's a chance to send a clear message to the league. Commander Nation, this is the season of redemption we've all been waiting for. Don't miss a second of this video because, trust me, by the end, you'll understand why the future of this team is being decided now. Ladies and gentlemen, what kind of game do we have on our hands this Sunday? This matchup between the Washington Commanders and the Atlanta Falcons isn't just another date on the schedule, it's an event. Jaden Daniels versus Michael Penix Jr., two of the most electrifying rookie quarterbacks in the NFL right now, squaring off in what could be the beginning of a generational rivalry in the NFC. Are you ready, Commander Nation? Because I know I am. Now, let's get to it. The aforementioned Michael Penix Jr., who just debuted last week with the Falcons, had a solid game but nothing to write home about. He completed 18 of 27 passes for 202 yards and 1 interception. Nice, sure, but let's be real. Is that enough to handle a guy like Jaden Daniels? Because let me tell you, Daniels is not your average quarterback. This guy wasn't just drafted high by Washington, he's justified that decision week after week. A leader, dynamic playmaker, and someone with vision veteran QBs could only dream of let me say it loud and clear. Washington has a true gem in Daniels. And if you don't believe me, just check out his performances this season. So here's the big question. Does Penix feel ready to step up against Daniels this Sunday in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area? Because going up against the Giants in a game dominated by running and defense is one thing, but facing an aggressive Commanders defense while trying to keep up with a QB like Daniels is an entirely different level. Remember, Daniels isn't just leading this team, he's the fuel keeping this offense running. And the chemistry he's built with his offensive weapons is something only a handful of rookies can boast of. But wait, it gets better. Daniels and Penix aren't just competitors, they're friends. They trained together, walked the same grind through the draft process, and the mutual respect is real. Daniels said something notable this week. I'm happy for Mike. He's waited for his moment, and he's a phenomenal player. Respectful, warm-hearted words, but let me ask this. Does that respect fade on the field Sunday? Because respecting your opponent and letting them outplay you are two very different things. Think Daniels might hold back? Not a chance. Let's address the elephant in the room. This game could have major playoff implications. If the Commanders lock up a playoff spot before Sunday contingent on the Panthers versus Buccaneers game, this matchup becomes a statement. It's about saying, we're not just here to make the playoffs, we're here to own them. On the flip side, if Atlanta wins, they could solidify their spot in the NFC and send a clear message, don't overlook us. So Nation, here's the million-dollar question for you to consider. What do you want to see from Jaden Daniels this Sunday? A passing clinic? Calmness under pressure? A legendary performance that crushes the Falcons' playoff hopes? Or maybe something even deeper, a display of leadership that rallies this team as they prepare for an unpredictable postseason journey. Coach Dan Quinn just gave us an incredibly encouraging update on running back Austin Ekeler, and folks, the outlook is looking very promising. Now, let's put this in perspective. We're not talking about just any player here. Who is Austin Ekeler to this team? Let me tell you, he's a cornerstone, a key element in this Washington Commanders machine, especially for a rookie like Jaden Daniels, who has leaned on Ekeler in both the run game and passing situations. Before his injury against the Cowboys in Week 12A's, the same game where he suffered his second concussion of the season, Ekeler wasn't just another running back. He was one of the most productive players on the team, contributing both on the ground and through the air. How many teams in the league can boast a weapon as versatile as him? But of course, this isn't your everyday. He got hurt, took some time off, and now he's good to go narrative. Oh no, folks! Ekeler's injury wasn't just any injury. We're talking about his second concussion this season. He himself revealed details that, honestly, left me unsettled. The man didn't remember how he left the field. Do you realize how concerning that is? He publicly acknowledged short-term memory loss and only recalls regaining awareness while being evaluated in the locker room with his spouse by his side. This is no light scrape, this is serious. But here's the light at the end of the tunnel. Coach Quinn, once again showing he's not just a field general but also a leader off the field, made it clear that Ekeler is showing significant progress in his recovery. What did he say exactly? This, and pay attention. Absolutely possible that Ekeler could return next week when we face, ironically, the same Cowboys team he got injured against. According to Quinn, the progress has been notable. Ekeler is already participating in meetings and engaging in supervised workouts. And let me ask you this. Could we finally be witnessing the moment where Ekeler comes back to change the trajectory of the game for the Commanders? Now here's where it gets tricky. Should we rush him? Sure, we all want to see him back out there, but this is still a concussion we're talking about. Would it be smarter to rest him for Week 18 if our playoff spot is already locked up? To me, there are two clear paths here. Either sit him out to ensure he's at 100% for the wildcard round, or play him against Dallas to help him get into rhythm before the playoffs. But which choice is the right one? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the kind of decision that truly balances risk versus reward. If Ekeler suits up against Dallas and something goes wrong, the consequences could be devastating. But if we reintegrate him carefully, he could become the spark this team needs to become serious playoff contenders. And it's not just about Ekeler. According to Quinn, Jonathan Allen could also return from IR soon, and let me tell you, this changes the game entirely. A fully healthy Ekeler paired with Allen bolstering the interior defense doesn't just make us stronger, it makes us dangerous. So here's the storyline. The Commanders have been winning their recent games without these two pillars, but imagine what will be with both of them back. I'll close this out with this thought. Austin Ekeler isn't the kind of player who just impacts the game through stats. His presence uplifts the entire team's mentality. Having him back inspires everyone to dig deeper, and that, on the brink of the playoffs, can be the difference between being just another team that shows up in January and being a team that dominates. So here's my final question, Commander Nation. What's your take? Should Austin Ekeler return in Week 18 against the Cowboys, or should we wait until the playoffs to ensure he's 100% ready? Commander Nation, listen up, because this situation is as exciting as it is nerve-wracking. Our Washington Commanders, sitting at 10-5, have a golden opportunity to officially clinch a spot in the NFC Playoff 7 before playing their Week 17 game against the Atlanta Falcons. How wild is that? But of course, here's where things get interesting. And as always, I say this team needs to take control of its own destiny. Am I right or what? Now, let's lay it all out. The Commanders are currently holding on to the 7th and final NFC playoff spot with a 2-game lead over their closest rivals, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Seattle Seahawks. But here's the kicker. Seattle is already eliminated from the wildcard race. Why? Because their only shot at the postseason is by winning the NFC West, and the Rams have the edge. So what does this mean for us? Essentially, Washington has one foot in the playoffs already, but there's a combination of results that could seal the deal before we even touch the field on Sunday night. And here's the kicker. The Buccaneers face the Carolina Panthers Sunday at 1:00 p.m. ET. And you know what? This isn't an easy game for Tampa Bay. While many might look at Carolina and dismiss them, the Panthers have been playing much better in recent weeks. And don't forget this key detail, the Bucs barely beat Carolina by 3 points earlier this year. So nothing's guaranteed, folks. If Carolina manages to pull off an upset and beat Tampa Bay, boom! The Commanders clinch their playoff spot regardless of what happens against the Falcons on Sunday Night Football. Can you imagine going from a disastrous 4-13 record last year to clinching a playoff berth with 2 games to spare? It's flat out unbelievable. But here's the thing, do we really want to sit back and wait to see what happens in the afternoon game? Or do we prefer going out on the field with the mentality that we can do this ourselves? Let's be clear, it's true that Washington has everything going for them. They've shown incredible form this season, with Jaden Daniels leading the offense like a seasoned pro and the defense playing some great football. But I'll ask again, would it even feel the same clinching because of a Tampa loss instead of earning it ourselves at home in such a critical game? Because let me tell you something, the game against the Falcons carries more weight than it seems. First, Atlanta has everything to play for. Sitting at 8-7, they're leading the NFC South but just barely over the Buccaneers due to a tiebreak. They control their destiny and will step onto FedEx Field with every intention of winning to hold on to their playoff position. This won't be a walk in the park. Second, this game was flexed to primetime Sunday Night Football precisely because of its implications. And what does that mean? All eyes in the country will be on us. This is the moment for the Commanders to prove they're not just a team that stumbled into the playoff picture. We're a team that can compete with anyone, anywhere. Third, beyond clinching, Washington needs to build confidence and momentum heading into the playoffs. Don't we want to hit January with the pedal to the floor and every gear in place? We need to win this game not just for the numbers, but for the message it sends to the rest of the NFC. So, Commander Nation, here we are on the verge of a massive milestone in this redemption season. But I'll leave you with this question to ponder. What kind of mentality do we want to see from this team? A squad waiting for others to do the hard work for them, or a team stepping onto the field determined to seize what's theirs? Because I'll tell you this, great teams, the ones that leave a legacy, don't rely on anyone else. They earn it themselves, on the field, every tackle, every throw, every yard. Sunday will be a long day, my friends. At 1:00 p.m., we'll all be watching closely to see what happens between the Bucs and the Panthers. But no matter the outcome, at 8:20 p.m., Washington has a date with destiny. What kind of team do you think we are, Commander Nation? Commander Nation! The big question that has us all on pins and needles, what do you expect to see from Jaden Daniels this Sunday against the Falcons? Will he be the QB who shines with precise throws, the composed mind controlling the game under pressure, or the leader delivering a performance for the ages to keep our playoff dreams alive? What's your vision for his promising future? Let's also talk Austin Ekeler. Friends, here comes the great debate. Should he return for the iconic regular season finale against Dallas in Week 18, or should we play it smart and save him for the playoffs? Knowing he'll be at 100%? Your opinion matters. Commander Nation, what would you do if you were on the coaching staff? And finally, let's circle back to what really matters. And here's the question that defines us as fans. What do we want this team to be? A roster sitting back hoping things work out, or warriors giving everything on the field, fighting for every yard as if it's their last gasp of air? You are a part of this conversation, and your voice matters. So if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, join this community, your family, because together we share the passion, the emotions, and the highs and lows that only this team can bring. Hit that like button, leave your comments, share this video, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you never miss another historic moment. And remember, hail to the Redskins!